Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, March 6th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. Patience is a choice. In each moment, we can choose to respond with an open, calm mind filled with patience, kindness, and gentleness, or we can respond with impatience, ungratefulness, and fear. So just notice what happens each time you choose to chill out and relax into realizing the eternal spiritual being you already are. Choose wisely today, dear one. Outwardness of the mind is suffering. Inwardness is happiness. Outwardness of the mind is suffering. Inwardness is happiness. Ramana. Have you ever noticed that your mind can get wrapped around this funny little idea that this life is not perfect the way it is, and that all the circumstances of your life are not the way they should be? The mind can easily become attached to the idea that if something is not perfect, then you certainly cannot find peace, happiness, or even love today. Perhaps the kitchen is a mess, or there's a pile of papers on your desk, or your loved one isn't behaving exactly the way you would like them to. Whatever the reason is, whether rational or irrational, the mind can easily get snagged in the thought of needing things to be perfect in order for you to relax inside and feel that everything is perfect exactly as it is. Whenever we start believing that our lives aren't exactly how they should be aware. Be aware, be aware. A perfection saboteur is lurking close by. We all have an inner saboteur voice inside us. This sabotaging energy is easy to pinpoint. It is always critical, never easygoing, and always trying to achieve for selfish reasons instead of thinking about serving humanity. When our saboteur is running our lives, you be sure you're not smiling or have a stern look or on your face through the day. By simply being aware of your own inner saboteur and not buying into its long list of complaints, you take back the happiness steering wheel of your life. You realize that life doesn't have to look a certain way for you to be happy. You can simply choose to accept and allow for life to be the way it is and choose to be happy right now. There's only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things that are beyond the power of our will. Epictetus, 1st century AD. The major problem with trying to achieve perfection in anything is that the mind will never, ever be 100% satisfied. Sure, it may momentarily believe perfection has arrived, yet give it about 24 hours, and it will soon decide there is room for more improvement. The reason for this is because the mind has become addicted to desire. It is caught in the wheel of wanting and doesn't know any other way to be. We would all love to be the creative master who is in control of our existence. And this is possible once we realize that the wheel is trying to fulfill desires never satisfies. Then we have the power to find what does truly satisfy. the core essence of our being, that is always at ease with life, accepting life as it is, and not needing to improve upon anything. This is the only way to truly allow ourselves to find real long-term peace inside. It's important to understand that the mind and see how it works. Important to understand the mind and see how it works. If you want to transcend its grasp on you, just taking a small, tiny step back from it, you can see it is a highly creative thinking machine. It is only doing its job to constantly think and think and think and think about all the many ways it can do, have, become, create, eliminate, improve upon life. It is always generating new problems as quickly as it finds the last answers. It thinks everything is normal just as long as it has something significant to do with its time. This is the typical programming society has given the mind, and there is nothing wrong with this. The only issue is that it can become so highly addicted to and entertained with the wheel of desire that it doesn't realize it's actually stuck running on a wheel just yet. If your mind is caught in the eternal internal rat race, if your mind is caught in the eternal internal rat race, believe it or not, there is an ancient yogic science that has proven how anyone can find total peace and satisfaction and reach it within 48 minutes. The yoga masters have studied the mind through their meditation students and have realized that the liberation of the ego mind is much like boiling water. As we all know, that water needs to be boiled at exactly 100 degrees Celsius to start evaporating. Not a degree less will do. The same is with the mind. It needs exactly 48 minutes of sitting silently, being still, looking within, doing nothing, before it begins to evaporate as well. Nobody knows why water boils at 100 degrees, or why it takes 48 minutes exactly before the mind lets go. What is important is that it is a scientific fact, and this phenomena has been known for centuries. Centuries. For just 48 minutes of sitting like a statue, not moving at all, you will have some form of experience in transcending the mind and discovering a reservoir of peace within. Any real ecstasy is a sign you are moving in the right direction. Don't let any prude tell you otherwise. St. Teresa of Avila. Be aware of the mind. Beware. Be aware. Beware. Beware of the mind. It will do everything and anything to avoid sitting still, doing nothing for 48 minutes. Yet, if you want to find something beyond this world, a slice of heaven within you, a window of clarity in your life, make some time this week to sit and try it out. You'll be amazed. You have nothing to lose but your ego. Simply sit in a comfortable position in a chair or on the floor with your back against a wall. Close your eyes. Get a timer so you don't have to keep an eye on the clock, and rest deep inside yourself for 48 minutes. Just relax. No less, no more. 48 minutes. Just relax. Start with scanning your body and letting go of any tension in your muscles and follow your breath. Rest into your innermost personal connection to the source, this moment. No efforting is required in this practice. This is a simple invitation to discover the divine peace inside you by inviting the ego to learn patience. Be aware of the mind. It will have all sorts of excuses not to do this exercise. it will also try to jump out in the middle of it, because the ego is terrified of being defeated. And yes, you will conquer the ego mind and transcend your suffering on a significant level after being cooked for 48 minutes by stillness. You will be amazed at what miracles can happen in such a short amount of time. If you can justify spending 2 hours watching a movie, you surely can take 48 minutes to find the God source itself. Just sit in silence. Notice who and what is watching it all. And soon, you'll become aware of the watcher watching the witnesser, seeing the sea of thoughts flowing by. When this occurs, you're knocking on the door to nirvana. Remember, the experience of suffering is optional. You don't have to live in doubt, confusion, or fear. Freedom is a personal choice. You can turn off that highly addictive monitor for a while and take a little personal journey inward to discover the amazing being you are. You probably won't find anything perfect inside you right away, and you might initially feel that this meditation makes everything inside feel more chaotic and unsettling. Yet, what you will discover after your 48 minutes are over is brilliant. What you will discover after your 48 minutes are over is brilliant. You will have a glimpse and feeling of true perfection. You'll have a glimpse of transcending the ego mind and discovering a state of oneness with the universe. Remember that this is a science, so if you do it, you cannot fail. Think of it as an experience that allows you to know yourself as divine. Right now, there is enough curiosity inside you, inside of us all, to try it out. Jump on this opportunity and take the chance to truly discover the real perfection that is already inside you now. So understand that the ego the mind tries to hurry and fear because it doesn't know what's going on. And that saboteur voice, which is the ego mind, will come in and say, it's just stupid, you're not going to get anywhere with this, it's boring too, and you don't need to do it. It's not going to work anyway. And that's what happens. That's that little voice that comes in and sets in doubt, fear, anxiety, whatever it may be that one experience when they go in the beginning with the 48 minutes of stillness. That's all it is. It's focusing on the breath, being in stillness for 48 minutes. They've got egg timers or whatever, digital timers. And they'll bing off after 48 minutes, so you don't have to keep looking over at what time it is, which is basically disrupting you in your flow. Isn't it interesting? I believe we're taught that we've got to be doing something all the time. You ever notice that? You ever notice that if you try to just do nothing, it doesn't last long, does it? This communication comes in and says, what are you doing? Why are you just sitting around? You got to get things done. You can't just sit around. You see what I mean? We all experience that, and it's kind of a guilt feeling. You ever feel that? A little guilt feeling comes in. Well, I feel so guilty because I'm not doing anything. I've got so many things to do. I can't just sit here and do nothing. And guess what? Yes, you can. During the transition, this great transition on this planet that we're all experiencing right now, the shift is in full gear, in full position, in full movement. So the things that we were taught, actually the reverse of those things, is the true reality. What would you do if you knew, you just knew it in your heart mind, with no doubt, total trust, and no fear, that whatever you wanted you could have? What would be the first thing that you would ask for? What would it be? Everybody's got a different one, for the most part. But if you knew this, emphatically so, never doubting it, that you could have whatever you wanted, and all you would have to do is keep your vibrational frequency genuinely high. Genuinely high. But doesn't it make sense that we know, everybody on this meditation call knows that if we are to have this perfection, this abundance come to us, which we do all the time, 24/7, and we knew that if we lowered our vibrational frequency low enough that we would drop below that flow of abundance. This is what happens basically to the majority of people on this planet. Someone could get you rubbed the wrong way, right? And before that, your vibrational frequency was wonderful. You're just kind of floating along. Then all of a sudden something happens, or you read something or whatever, and it drops down. And then the flow still keeps flowing in that same direction, at the same velocity, but yet you're not receiving it because you've dropped below it. It's not going to meet you. You have to meet it. And you really don't have to, but you choose to. And this is going to be crucial during this massive transition for humanity, to continually increase your vibrational frequency by being still. And that's what this 48 minutes is about. It's just to sit and be still. Focus on the breath and do nothing. Don't move a muscle. And it's difficult for some because they like I said, got to be doing something. You can't just sit here for 48 minutes. Boy, it's just stupid. The heck am I sitting here for 48 minutes for? That's the voice telling you. You know, it's not much of a voice, it's a feeling. So that feeling tells you, you got to stop doing this. Is not working. What's it doing for you? And yet, you negate that feeling and keep doing it. We are such powerful beings that we could literally have right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, right now, everything that we could ever desire. It's just we don't know how to get there. Not yet. Some do. Some have found that. Some do sit for 48 minutes completely still, being in total silence. They have the headphones where you can just put them on and push a button and you can't hear anything outside of yourself. Nothing. No distractions. Period. And, or earplugs or something, because a lot of people get sensitive to external noises, and it derails them, so to speak, distracts them too much, and then they quit before the 48 minutes is up. And it shouldn't be a forced thing. It should just be natural, because it is our natural state of being. And this is all about patience, completely about patience. No efforting is required in this practice. This is a simple invitation to discover the divine peace inside you by inviting the ego to learn patience. Just to learn patience. And we're striving to be in nirvana. That's the highest vibrational frequency while in these bodies. Nirvana. There's samadhi, which is below nirvana. That's another feeling. There's bliss, which is below samadhi. So there's different variances and levels of total freeness and exuberation. Completely different. It doesn't make sense that we can sit and watch a couple-hour movie, but we can't be still. To do 48 minutes of nothing, a lot of people go, that's crazy. Why would I want to do that? Why? I don't care about nirvana and all that stuff. That's the ego mind talking. I got better things to do than sit and do nothing. But it's the true path to teaching the ego patience and to finding the door that opens to nirvana. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure we all are. And the first thing, absolute first thing, relax the body. Inside and out, head to toe. And when you understand that the body is a magnetic sponge, super powerful magnetic sponge. Now, the ego mind, the subconscious mind, absorb things and generate things. So the subconscious mind copies everything the ego mind creates and stores it and then replays it. You see what's going on? Is the subconscious mind an illusion? Yes. Is the ego mind an illusion? Yes. But they seem pretty real to all of us. In fact, they seem totally real. So what is it that we miss of relaxing the body? You know what it is? We can't sit still because of patience. We're impatient. So doesn't it make sense that your body's at ease as much as possible so you don't have it in dis-ease? And any slight shift, irritation, offensiveness, defensiveness, emotionality, at breaking at the slightest curve and lowering your vibrational frequency. And none of us are exempt from it because we do it all the time. It's just that we aren't consciously aware of it. So when you go in to relax your body, because you're not the body, we know that, you're the God, you do it in a way through the breath, and the breath takes you, which is the now. And the now is where we care and desire to be all the time, being in the now. But it doesn't feel right, does it? See, and then the body doesn't relax. Sure, you can do an artificial relaxation of the body. It doesn't really work. Booze and drugs and all kinds of stuff. It's artificial. It doesn't work. It doesn't stay there. It might make you forget things for a period of time, but guess what? They're all there waiting when you come around. So when you relax the body, everything opens up. You focus on the now, you're in the now, through the breath. The breath is divine positive energy. We, the gods, go into these bodies and we power them up. Lungs go online, all the organs start functioning, blood starts flowing, heart's pumping. And the breath is sacred. Our breath is sacred. And some of us forget to breathe. Isn't that amazing? Now, of course, the body is going to remind you to breathe. It's going to figure out a way to get you to breathe. But to be aware of the breath and to be in the now and to put the body into relaxation. Now, you can be relaxed walking down the road, driving your car, having dinner. You could be totally relaxed. I don't mean fall down relaxed. I mean just at ease. So you know and you feel the body being at ease. Now, when we do this, all of these pressures, fears, tears, anxiety, and everything fall away. And you just say, I surrendered. I surrendered to you, fear number one, or wanting, having, and getting. I surrender. It's not that you're giving up, or it's not like you're going to lose anything. You just surrender to it. That's it. And then it dissipates, and it's no longer there. See, the ego mind doesn't want you to surrender. The ego mind wants you to fight it. See? The ego mind wants to be in control all the time. So you ever felt like you always feel like you want to be in control all the time, and then if you're not in control, you're fearful because you don't know where things are going and you haven't got control over anything, instead of just letting it go? So when we relax the body through the breath, we also, and move into the now, we also still the mind, still the ego, and still the subconscious mind. And what does that mean? We don't entertain them. Do you believe that when you do this 48 minutes of being completely still, that's not making a huge impact on the ego, the mind? It's time to teach the ego 101 in patience, which in turn does what for you? Opens up the true understanding of patience. And you can test things throughout the travel of your day. Is when, have you ever noticed that when you stop focusing on wanting and having, so whatever it may be, and you just let it go, that's when the abundance will show up. You ever notice that when you grab onto it and you fixate over it and you're constantly attached to it, that it doesn't happen? And then, of course, because you become more frustrated, more irritated, and more upset because it hasn't happened. And because by doing this, you lower your vibrational frequency enough that flow of the universe coming to you is coming to you, but you've dropped below it, so you're not going to manifest what it is you desire or want. And remember, this is not about anybody outside of you. It is only about you. And the reason we understand that is because in the event that you are not in love with yourself, that you have surrendered and forgiven all things in your life, in this life, or maybe some past lives, then you're not going to be able to manifest that which you desire. And how are you going to help others if you aren't clear with yourself and have surrendered and forgiven? It's difficult. Not that it can't be done, but it is difficult. And why make things so difficult for ourselves? Now, we know, of course, that we are the God within the body, and that we're not the body, the character, the personality, the belongings, or the status in this present life. And we know that the God that we are enters the body, powers the body up. The God is the heaven. Heaven is not a place. That's part of the matrix trap. Heaven is you. Each of us, the gods that we are. And so we are heaven on earth, heaven being the God, the body being the earth. And every step we take, we are creating paradise. We know this because we're consciously aware to a certain extent, Consciously aware means is that we know within us, in us, above us, below us, and around us, that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. We're made of it. The only reason people get angry and frustrated and strike out at other people is because it's love under pressure. So if you were to look in the body and understand all this, is that you are literally creating paradise, a God planet paradise on this planet. And you're consciously aware of it through the heart-mind. And not only that, you're shining your light. What is shining your light? We are constantly glowing, the gods that we are in these bodies. We don't stop glowing. Now, yeah, you can throw paint and mud and stuff on us where it'll look like it gets dim, but the light never diminishes, never recedes. It constantly expands. So we're shining our light, our deep eternal love, all over this planet 24/7, 360 degrees. So if you did fly off the planet, you got out far enough where the planet looked like a basketball, you would see that it did glow. And you would see that all the lights around it in this universe would pale in comparison. They would be like comparing a lit candle in a dark room. Dim, dim, dim. Now we also look inside the body, and we see these 7 lights, all different colors, much more vibrant than on this planet. What are these lights? On this planet, they call them chakras. The definition of chakra is wheel. These are wheels of light. We are spirit etheric energy, so are they. So omnipotently powerful. We flow through this body constantly. And we know every single part of these bodies right down to the quantum quark. So as we journey with him, and we continue our journey with him, we eventually will discover, I guarantee it, you will eventually discover within that you, the God that you are in that body you're in, can heal that body in the blink of the eye. How do we know that? People have already done it. It's taken them a while, but they've done it. So we're on the right path. It's just a lot of us don't understand how in the heck can you do that? Because we don't have trust, complete trust in ourselves and no doubt about it. Now picture yourself standing on a golden circle. And you look to your left and you look to your right and you see actually 3 paths. And the one on the left, there's really not a difference in how they're constructed, because you see the trees have formed a canopy. And the trees are all gold, shimmering gold, leaves, bark, branches, everything. And you also see the path as this brilliant emerald green flaming grass. It appears to be grass. And they're all the same. And the only difference you see is that the one on the left, which is the past, is very worn. And the one on the right, which is the future, is very worn. You notice that the path that you're standing on, which is the now, is like brand new. You see, the ego will do anything to keep us from going into the now. It'll throw every distraction it can, and pull, remember the saboteur, and literally keep us out of the now. It does a pretty darn good job of it. Because not many people can stay in the now continuously. Now, we all go and we reminisce. We have nostalgia, memories, And some of us don't know it, but memories of past lives. And so we have a library, private library for each of us. And something can spark a song, or driving somewhere, walking, or just sitting and thinking. So what we do is we go into our library, our subconscious, which is the past, and open the door, turn on the lights, and we grab some movies and some books and pictures, and we sit in an easy chair, and we put the movies on, start watching movies, and enjoy ourselves. And it's fun. Reminisce and how wonderful this time was. And boy, I wish I could do that again. That was so fun. I really had a good time. Everything just worked and fell into place. And then we also visit the ones that we go, I'll not do that again. But then we reminisce and experience that, and then we put everything away on our shelves, and we turn off the light, shut the door, move forward in life, and on occasion revisit. Some of us, however, will stay there too long, and I don't believe it's consciously aware. I believe it's unconscious. And so they stay there so long that they end up bringing that past into a future that doesn't exist, creating that future from that past and reliving that past in that future. This is why people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. Now, not much different with the future. We're creating the future in the now, but most of us don't realize that. We think the future is already there. But it isn't. You create your future. And you think your destiny is already destined for you. In a way it is, but it's only written in sand. So you can change. You could actually change your destiny. It's not etched in rock. It's written in sand. But we will go into what we think is the future. Because we're asking, we want to know things. We have questions that keep coming up with ourselves. And we get to the point where we want answers. You know, when is this going to happen? When am I going to have a better job? When do I have a better boss? When am I going to get the raise or promotion? You know, when am I going to be healthy enough to enjoy my life? Or where people say they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You see, there's so many things that we don't know that the ego mind puts on us, and we just think that's just natural. It's the normal life. It's whatever normal is. But we say it's the normal life. This is the way life is. This is the way life's always been. You can't buck life. You just live it. This is the way it goes. Which is a lie, in a way. Now, it's so important for us to practice with ourselves, to be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with ourselves at all times. To be in the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, the purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace, all the time. No matter what goes on around us, that's the distraction. But all the time. We have 60,000 plus thoughts, roughly, that each of us, generate every 24 hours. Do you think we're not generating when we're sleeping? We are. It's nonstop. Not only that, we have thoughts flying by like clouds in the sky in the tens of millions, 24/7. You might as well call them programs because they're everybody else's thoughts that have ever been here on and above and below this planet. Think about that. And they're not ours. 99.999% of them are not ours. So we get seduced. We're in the now. These thoughts fly by. We inadvertently, we've all done it. None of us are exempt from it. We grab onto one and we take it and we move it into form. We create it into reality. And sometimes we pick up on the fact and we say, this doesn't feel right. And then you might ask someone else, does this feel right? And they go, what are you talking about? It's you and the thought that you embraced. It doesn't feel right. Because it's not yours. And how do you checkpoint this? You do it by saying, okay, so I generate a thought to the universe. That's my thought. I created that thought. And it's just a thought. That's all it is. It doesn't have any power or anything until you give it that. So that's why you focus on your breath. Every time you fly off out there, focus on the breath. Easy in through the nose and easy out through the mouth. Breathe slowly, easily. And watch what happens. You're in the now. Every single time. And if that comes up again 2, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, 60, 100 times a day, it's the same process. And after a while, you will become more aware that, okay, and see what I mean? Just going through it and practicing. And in this journey, in this particular life, some of us, just maybe, when we decide to leave these bodies and we go out into the sacredness of space, right, as the gods that we are, not the body any longer, we will not follow a light that appears in front of us. We won't. We will know that we are the light. And the light is just the reflection of the love that you are. And you'll say, I am the love and I am the light. So why would I follow a light? That's part of the matrix trap in this universe, this quadrant of the galaxy, of the Milky Way galaxy. We know that parts of ourselves, the gods that we are asleep. Now, they're with us all the time because they're part of us. We aren't really concerned about them being asleep because we know eventually they will wake up. And we deeply love them just like the parts of ourselves that we deeply love that are awake. Now, the ones that are awake, we communicate with one another constantly, helping, assisting. And it doesn't matter if parts of us are 800, 1,000 billion light years away. We're one. There's no separation. There never has been. It's an illusion. Now, this is all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It's ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Moria, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua, all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath earth. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the archangels, cherubim, seraphim, archetypes. All the off-worlders, galactic, celestials. Now, the light energy beings with this planet, the eyes that we have with these bodies, we only see 1%. So there's light spectrums that we don't see. We don't see in the infrared and the red, the violet and the ultraviolet, and onward. We don't see these light energy beings that come in shapes, color, sizes, forms, configuration. We are familiar with a group, small group, that these bodies are dependent on a part of this group all the time, intimately so. Fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the magics, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the Pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur. Now ask the body that you're in. Can you survive without air, water, fire, earth, ether, wood? And that's a big no. These bodies, we would have to leave them. Literally have to leave them. So these bodies are super dependent on the elements, the elementals. Now the Archangels, they are a civilization that vibrates at a different frequency than we do. Now the gods within them and the gods within us are one. And we don't see them like we see each other. We feel them. And we meet them. But it isn't as if we're specifically go, oh, I'm meeting an angel today. It's usually through a random meeting, a conversation in a store with a stranger stocking and shelves and stuff. Or someone appearing and helping you with something. And then when you've met them, it's not like they're in a meeting, you're going, oh, this is an angel, this is great. It seems always after. And something just through your heart mind comes up and you say, that was an angel. And you feel a little bliss. They have a message for all of us. And they've been delivering this message in many different ways for a very long time. And the message is, isn't it absolutely magna glorious to be alive in these bodies? You see, we take these bodies for granted because we have no memory, which is not a natural state, by the way. So when we incarnate in these bodies, we lose our memory of who and what we are. And so how do we know? Now, in the beginning, as babies, in the God within the baby, we see our feet and our hands, and we're just mesmerized because we're in a physical form. But eventually that fades out, and we just kind of we take these bodies for granted like we would an old shoe until the old shoe, as comfortable as it was, wears out so much that it can't be fixed, and then we miss it. And bodies are similar. We use them and use them and use them and use them and use them until they don't work anymore, and then we leave them. Now, we really don't do anything about keeping them healthy or running correctly because we haven't learned how to do that yet, for the most part. But understand, and it is difficult for a lot of people to understand that, you know, when you aren't in this body, you don't eat, you don't sleep, you don't make love, you don't kiss, you don't hold hands, you don't laugh, you don't cry, you don't have a nice dinner and taste and everything. None of that. You don't feel the wind through your hair, the sunlight on your face. So doesn't it make sense that we go within and the inward journey never ends, but we do go within and we stay within and we discover all these things? We discover how wonderful these bodies are, and we are in deep gratitude every single second we're in them, no matter what's going on. Now, they can surround any one of us in the tens of millions at any time because their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. Now, if you want them to, ask them. Blink of the eye, they'll be there, and you'll be in bliss. Now, the Ascended Masters, they have ascended into physical form and have mastered physical form. They have ascended out of physical form. They hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical form, We are in the process of mastering physical form. We are creating our experiences to perfect our creation. Now, the Galactic Celestials, off-worlders, over 1,000 species travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. We're familiar with a small group: Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Felines, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian. This particular group has been assisting us with our evolution, enlightenment, and ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. So, we're gathered in a way, we're always gathered. And hundreds of millions of us in groups of googleplexes, consciously aware to a certain extent, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one, we're all love, and we're all God. And our God force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to grow, expand, and intensify. We immediately form a white fire circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This emanates from the gods within these bodies. This is pure, deep, eternal love, and it is flooding, saturating, and permeating this planet 24/7, infinity and beyond. There's no escape from it. It's everywhere, permeating and saturating everything. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe. Now, we begin to ascend above the planet. As we do, we're met with this massive ocean of glitter. Now, this isn't like an ocean of glitter you would depict here on this planet. Way beyond that. And we use a descriptive way to try to describe it. We can come close to describing it. Is take a grand finale fireworks display that's 1 billion times more spectacular than any fireworks display we've had on this planet. The same with a laser light show grand finale. The same with a ballroom globe that reflects all light and sprays it everywhere. Except this ballroom globe is 1 trillion times larger and 1 trillion times more intense. Now you combine all of those into one crescendo, and that's about as close as we'll get to this ocean of glitter. Now we're curious, so we go to the reflective points, which we notice are tiny, microscopic, perfectly etched mirrors. So we enter them, and we discover that all of us in the googleplexes are learning and teaching and learning, and everything. You see, the God, and all the gods that we are, enter different physical forms for what? To experience them. So they give them life, and they experience them. It's so different than the tree. We said, well, the tree's got life. Yes. Who gives the tree life? The God. The God goes into the tree and inhabits the tree and gives the tree the energy so that the God can experience the tree. Now, when the God leaves the tree is no more. Just like when the God leaves these bodies, the body is no more. It's no different than a rock or anything. You'll, if you haven't yet, you will learn that when you see something and you look at it, and there's no judging or anything or analyzing, you just look at it. And you say, I wonder what it would be like to be that. And for a moment, in silence, you will experience what it's like to be that. So we never stop learning from each other. We never stop teaching. We never stop being students. It's part of our journey in experiencing physical material life. And we're immediately met by the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created, the gods that we are within these bodies, to remind us that we are the power of healing. We're then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all, the gods that we are within these bodies, of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that from head to toe, inside and out, we are protected with a white fire armor, way beyond any armor you would perceive on this planet. This white fire armor emanates from the God within each and every one of us. The God force, love, light, energy, the love that we're made of. This is the highest of the highest high frequencies. Now, no demon possession, no attachments, no lower dark matter, survival matter, frequency invasions. They can't sustain to be around us. Their frequencies are so low, ours is so high, they can't be in our field. They'll vaporize. So they stay away. So we're always protected. Ever, beyond, and forever. Yet, only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, through hatred, greed, anger, fear, envy, hurriedness, revenge, manipulation, dishonesty, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flowing in. Now, if you do decide to do this, you'll notice when it does happen that demon possession, attachment, and many other things of the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies will pull you down. But when you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with a double column of light. The first part of the column of light is the purple transmuting flame. We created this part of the column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame, transmute all of these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are no more. Then the second part of this column of light is the violet ray. We created this part of the column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame. We can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony to the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, peace. We're then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that we all created, the gods that we are within these bodies, to remind us that we are the sun, the sunlight, the rain, the rainbow. The sun sets and the sun rises. The oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the trees, the forests, the soils, the animals, the mountains. We're everything. Everything is us. So the next time that you view a sunset or a sunrise, a rainbow, a snowfall, whatever it may be, instead of looking at it and saying, isn't that beautiful? Because that's the illusion of separation. You look at it through your heart mind and say, That is the God that I am. And you do it through the heart mind, and you're in bliss because you know this to be true. And you're not undeserving. You're not full of guilt. That's all the ego. Now we continue to ascend above the planet. And some of us decide to step outside our physical form, if we're carrying physical form, and hover effortlessly above it. And the reason we do this is because it's fun, and we can. We immediately come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. We created this tower. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the tower is this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is a golden white bowl of light. In turn, it is surrounded by multicolored rings of light that seem to go to infinity and beyond. They have created this massive, super bright, white, sparkling, electrified cloud. And it is immediately absorbed through our heart mind, and it feels like a warm embrace that never ends. The golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest eternal love. Then comes well-being, gratitude, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, tremendous, massive, unending prosperity, tremendous, massive, unending abundance. And then we discover that all of that is a reflection of the gods that we are within these bodies. Now, at the top of the column, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, 24/7, infinity and beyond, which it's doing right now. We're all being soaked, permeated, saturated. And what is it? It is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. There's no escape from it. On and above and below, this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, totally saturated in it. Now, we're drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is the drops of the golden ocean. The only illusion is separation. Now, we see our meditative sphere. It's that center circle. We all created this sphere over 4 years ago. It holds over 1,800 of our meditations in perpetual motion. And understand, hundreds of millions of us on and off world with our full intent to this planet for its complete liberation from lower dark matter, matter frequencies. You can tap into those meditations anytime because they don't wane, they don't leave, they continue to grow, expand, intensify. And every day, 7 days a week, sometimes more than once a day, these meditations continue with not any missed days for over 4 years. Your mind will most likely get crazier the more you meditate. This is an illusion. You are simply becoming more aware of the chaos that is already present in it. If you cannot stand the amount of mind chatter, take a few minutes before you sit to relax your body. start imagining a warm, relaxing light going into your toes and then moving all the way up your body. I'll join you in the meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Be still. Really relax today. Breathe in the affirmation, I am safe. I am loved. All is well in my world. Let these words sink deep into your bodies. Stay alert, yet in the flow. Allow any calming energy to grow and spread throughout your body. The easiness of being absorbs each thought that arises in the mind. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and following morning. We'll return here Monday, March 7th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation goal.